Thank you, everybody, for those beautiful, beautiful comments. And I'm going to come to the first question. And Rory, I'm going to direct this to you to begin with. This is from Dwight Avery. Dwight says, what practices, structures, or shared commitments do you believe are most essential for building the connective tissue between our movements so that we're not just aligned in spirit, but actually interwoven in a way that amplifies impact across communities and continents?
I think that is a really important question that a lot of people have been trying to answer. And I don't know if this might be even a bit of a cop-out, but I guess I've seen so many people work across different organizations, different places, everything that you guys do. I think there is a quality of wisdom that's in the depths of the universe, in the depths of our bodies and our being, and there's an organic quality to it. And so there's a difference between saying, I need to do this, and I'm going to go do it, and getting into a place in our own spiritual lives where we're connected with that deeper wisdom that does understand everything that's going on and is connected to everything that's happening. And then there's a kind of organic movement where we find our place among it, where we can serve in the best way. And that may be connecting a lot of people, that may be doing a different kind of work. Ultimately, my faith and trust is in that deeper wisdom. And I think it's just a matter of, of reaching a kind of tipping point of enough people that have enough spiritual maturity, then that will quite naturally move into politics and greater connections and greater movements. But if it's coming from the part of our mind that gets really excited rather than the depths of our heart, even if it's a big movement, it won't necessarily root or ground in the same way that might be possible. So tuning into that organic wisdom and trusting it, I still think that is our best way forward as a human family, including making connections across all different groups and finding the kind of the fulcrums and the leverage points where we're going to be most fruitful in our work. Thank you.
Thank you, Rory. I'm going to open, it's such an important question, I'm going to open it up. I want to also acknowledge Bob Atkinson, prolific author and unity weaver. One of his most recent works is The Way of Unity. And Bob has come in to help us come to the fulfillment of this spiral today. But I open up this question: what practices, structures, or shared commitments do you believe are most essential for building the connective tissue between our movements? Does anyone feel called to jump in and answer that one?
I have to say I missed the question because we just had an emergency alert because of the blizzard that we're in. Oh. So if you heard that buzzing, that's what was interrupting us. So hopefully someone else can take that question because I couldn't hear it.
I'll offer one practice. We're aided so much by internet connection. To me, a practice is to look at the quality of dialogue, increase dialogue. It's already happening. The quality, though, of conversation, the quality of what is being connected, what inside of people, what ideas, what values, what stories are traveling back and forth. We have a great tool now with technology, but the more people talk from their depths, from what really matters, the strands will strengthen. There'll be more coherence, and there'll actually be more relationship. So increase dialogue that has quality wherever we can, in whatever organizations or networks that we're in, expand to include even more people, but aim the meaning down where it really matters in people's lives.
Beautiful, Sally. A lot of people talking about coherence these days as a key indicator of that depth. I have another question for you, and maybe Deborah may want to answer this one as well. This is from David Wick from Pathways to Peace. And David says, I worked with Avon Madison when URI was being formed. With the years that have passed, is it 26 now? With the years that have passed since the formation of the URI, what do you see as the greatest impact URI has had to date?
Well, I'll jump in. President Obama made it famous, si se puede. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. It's don't let other people take over and say, this is how your community has to be. This is how you have to live. No, people are invited to self-organize, to see what they care about, and to bring others together and make a change. I think URI has established that invitation works, from just the idea of any 7 people from 3 different backgrounds or religions come together, state your initiative. Now there's over 1,200 of these groups in over 112 countries. And they keep coming year after year. They just month after month. People are saying, yes, I'm stepping in to take leadership, to help in many ways, because we have a shared purpose, and that's to create cultures of peace, justice, and healing.
That reminds me of another phrase from the URI charter with a word that I didn't like when I first heard it, which is enduring daily cooperation. And I was like, enduring just seems like a kind of a heavy word, but it was something Charles loved, and I trusted him. But now I see that is really one of the qualities of the URI, is that enduring cooperation. This has gone on for all of these years now, and so has the Temple of Understanding and other interfaith organizations that are holding a standard that people can come together across differences of beliefs with common goals for a better world. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, and I think a good spin-off to that question, it's interesting that when we asked Bob to join us, I had given him a question because he hadn't been here for the other 3 days. And just to let you know, Bob is a long-term colleague of Joseph Campbell, so he brings this whole perspective of the hero with 1,000 faces and the monomyth of the journey that we're all on together. And he's a 3-time Nautilus Award winner. His book, The Story of Our Time, is a classic, and he's also the acquisitions director for and a co-founder of Light on Light. And the question that we sent Bob that we wanted him to join on was the one that we also were going to muse about. And I'm so great that we're answering questions as well from the audience. But I asked Bob to opine, along with the rest of us, just to muse on what he thinks the future of the interspiritual paradigm might look like. So Bob, especially in case you prepared something, we want to give you a chance to share that.
Thanks so much, Kurt. And Ben, it's great to be with you all. I just wanted to first start off saying it's been a real pleasure to have been able to work with you, Kurt, for the last 6 or so years, starting with Our Moment of Choice and all of the books that we've done, and Light on Light Press, of course, and the 2 interspiritual volumes. But yeah, I put some reflection into that question, and also a reflection on the symposium as a whole a bit too. I mean, what an amazing, inspiring symposium. Talk about spiraling up a new energy for planetary consciousness. My reflection came out being, on what we've heard this weekend, came out being a bit metaphorical. And it's clear from what everyone has been saying this weekend that we're forging a path for what is coming, a universal spirituality. And there is something deeper that's clearly moving and orchestrating all things. And what I've been thinking about is that the characteristics that we'd find in a universal spirituality may already exist in the patterns of nature. I'll take a couple of minutes to explain that a bit metaphorically. As has been said throughout the weekend, we've been living by the old story of separate families, separate communities, separate nations, separate religions, far too long. We can no longer think that we are different, distinct, and disconnected. A new story is emerging of humanity as organically connected and interdependent, even much more so than we're aware of. A look at the workings of nature tells us all we need to know. There's an underground network of roots consisting of very diverse life forms that nurtures and connects all the trees in the forest. This mycelial network, designed to facilitate and maintain an organic renewal process by focusing on the needs of the whole. It doesn't get distracted by what is breaking down. It knows that is part of the process too. It rather focuses on building up what is emerging. Most important, this organic renewal spreads through the strength of its own unity in diversity. Mycelial networks weave their wholeness with a patterned persistence and are assured of their outcome, always nurturing networks of care, cooperation, and sharing by safeguarding the common good. So the interesting thing is illustrating the principle of correspondence, as above, so below. Humanity too was created to do the same thing, to carry out an organic renewal process of society at all levels, local to global. I'd like to invite us all to think of humanity as its own mycelial network. We have yet to acknowledge this potential. Humanity has been weaving and reweaving our own wholeness and unity for millennia, expanding levels of unity with each age. In the interspiritual age, our challenge is clear, as reflected in nature all around us, to complete the wholeness and unity of all circles as one. Our equivalent of mycelial networks in the social world is renewing and recreating the entire infrastructure of social relationships upon a new foundation of universal harmony and unity. This process of growth and transformation involves the full participation of the entire human family, building strong, vibrant, and inclusive communities right where we are. What I'm suggesting is that the evolution of spirituality mirrors the cycles of nature, with each age building upon the previous. A series of organic renewal processes following the natural growth and development of all life forms will bring about the wholeness and unity of the human family. When humanity's innate potential is realized, that'll be the culmination of the interspiritual age. Thank you.
So Ben, I'm going to let you be our guide because you also have to close the symposium. So you're the one who really needs to have the feel for the clock. And you may have more questions you want to bring from the audience or wherever you want to go. We are at your service.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you, Bob, for the beautiful, reflective comments. It's so exciting to be in this moment here together. And Kurt, you had a question for our host, which I think is a great one, which is, given all you've heard the last 3 days, what do you think the future of the interspiritual paradigm may look like? Who would like to jump in with this? What do you think the future of the interspiritual paradigm may look like?
I can jump in, just get us rolling maybe. And you know, this just comes from the unique piece of work that I do. I think, you know, so Bob laid out a wonderful framework there, and we've heard a lot of these beautiful visions, concepts of a united humanity. I think an important piece, I'm kind of channeling my teacher, Father Thomas, here a little bit, is also a recognition that's a part of of the spiritual life, is a proper framework and understanding. The other part is this long journey of transformation, that as we live in our lives, if we're being aware, we recognize that we have a difficulty, that there's something else that seems opposed to these deeper insights that we have into the world, and that it's a long journey. And so that we don't get discouraged or despair in it, and we find the willingness and the depth to continue the difficult times. And I think the paradigm shift is from the kind of siloed traditions and teachers of the past to increasing intimacy among the teachers, among the traditions, so that we are pooling this wisdom and beginning to offer roads to an interspiritual humanity that we see so often in younger generations. They want a transformative path, but they don't want it in a siloed way. They don't want to say, I'm just Christian, or I'm just Buddhist, or I'm just... Some people do, and we should support it. But we need to find ways to walk this long journey in its depth, and the people who can help us do that need to find ways to begin to do it together instead of separated and encouraging one another from a distance. So I think that kind of increasing intimacy is really important. Thanks.
Beautiful, Rory. Thank you. Anybody else want to build on what Rory's shared or jump in there with what's the future of the interspiritual paradigm?
Well, I think one comment I'll make at this point, it's interesting that when we decided to do the interspiritual volumes, we actually felt that there was a historical responsibility there, that if we didn't write this story down and write it down comprehensively, it might just be lost. And so all of the thousands of hours that we put into that, and with such thanks to the 120 people who sent us all this material and 25 years of correspondence, we didn't know what that would lead to. We hoped that it might just add another log to the fire for this vision. Obviously, we know it's the only vision that can help the world get to where it needs to go, because it inculcates the vision and the call of the heart. I mean, that is so simple and so true. But I think the question that arises then is how that universally understood part of the heart, which is shared by every human being, no matter how damaged they have been, whether that can actually be actualized by the species at a collective level to build a world that would reflect those values and reflect that level of heart. And as Rian Eisler has said it and said so well yesterday, how we get out of this domination consciousness and domination systems and into the partnership consciousness that could build this world that interspirituality and the true values of all the traditions are actually about. And that's an unknown, but what's interesting about it, that's the challenge for our species anthropologically. I mean, we're primates, the whole primate lineage is about conflict, and we'll just have to see whether we can make it across that threshold. So those of us who are expressing the views that really been inculcated in this symposium, we've got to hope that we can be the spark for that to actually become the movement that could change the world in the way that's real, not just hypothetical. And as Patrick Carolyn said, not just the evacuation plan, but the transformation plan. So that's why we're here and we don't know, but we're willing to take the risk. And that's why I take my hat off, my heart out to everybody who's contributed to this, because if not us, who? Remember, if not now, when, and so on. So that's kind of what I'd say, and I think that's true from what all of us feel.
God bless you, Kurt. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, it's giddy up. The fire horse has arrived and has taken us to a new moment. I'll jump in briefly here and just say it's just a mind shift, isn't it, to collective revelation. That divine revelation showing up in one time and place in human history and culture ought do no damage to all the other countless times it shows up in a different time and place in human timeline and culture. And as we embrace that simple and yet so difficult shift to complementary revelations, we can arrive at that place of understanding, which sees that God's transcendence and God's immanence are beautifully complementary. And within that, the connection to the earth, ecological spirituality, the inner dimensions, the worshipful and devotional practices all belong. And as 8 billion, 10 billion people, we're going to find and gravitate what we like, what suits us as our personality. Some people will want to maintain a mono-religious container, and that's great. It's whatever is working for each individual. More of us may want to hold a bit of this and a bit of that and a bit of this, but as long as we're going deep and being sincere and authentic, then I think the future is golden and so full of promise. So Kurt Johnson, deep bows to you, all the interspiritual pioneers, bringing Father Thomas Keating in here, Bede Griffiths, Wayne Teasdale, and all the beautiful female pioneers as well of this, and throughout millennia, going back tens of thousands of years, the seers and the mystics and the prophetesses and the prophets and everyone who has contributed to this moment. How extraordinary. The future of interspirituality is bright, Reverend Deborah Moldow, like a garden of light. Is there anything you'd like to jump in with?
Well, I would like to say a few words. Is this a good time? I want to briefly address the darkness of the world today that Gard Jamieson called the pain of the planet, the never-ending wars, the revelations of depravity, the rise to the surface of xenophobia and racism. Everyone coming together under the banner of Unity Earth must take our name seriously. Unity is rare here on planet Earth, but we are holding such an important light. And the light always conquers the darkness, although maybe not as fast as we would like it to. But this symposium has taken us on a journey to the future, giving new energy for planetary consciousness as we spiral up together. So we started on day one when we gathered as family, and we had that special feeling of one home, as Rama and Alexander would say. And then on day two, we examined new kinds of partnerships. Julie Krull pointed us so brilliantly toward partnerships that are based on aligned frequency and harmony that weaves together our differences. Syed Salman Chishti mentioned shared noble intention. I love that phrase because really ours could not be more noble as we all strive to bring this planet to a place of more light. And I love that Jonathan Granoff spoke about Hearts Without Borders. Beautiful. And Yuka Sayanji and Laura Rose spoke about the importance of caring for one another. And Laura spoke, and Kay Lindahl. Kay Lindahl spoke so beautifully about experiencing wonder and awe. And then on day three, when we moved into the future of interspirituality, we explored the spiritual foundation that fuels this new energy for planetary consciousness. We are rediscovering the golden rule with Ambassador Muse Hailu and the unitive narrative with Dr. Jude Currivan and the wisdom of indigenous peoples and leading from the heart. Our amazing Kurt Johnson said that our work must be consistent and courageous. So let us take his words to heart in the love story that Yanni Maniatis just referenced, and let us spiral up together in unity. Thank you.
Beautiful. Deborah, thank you for bringing it all together. And we are towards the close there. There's a couple more quotes in the chat. Let me add. Connie Baxter says, yes, Rory, absolute trust shifts frequencies into new realities. The only way out is up. We're not fixing lower frequency systems, and behaviors. We are accessing higher frequencies as the earth shifts frequencies and calls us forth into the frequency Jesus embodies with the miracles he performed. He was a way shower, and this and more you shall do. John Lennon wrote about this frequency in Imagine. All this is carried in the indigenous knowing. Matthew Martin said, every day take some time to consciously breathe with all those who love and care and have true goodwill for the earth and all in the world. Maureen Edwardson said, maybe we can think in terms of spiritual fascia, interconnective tissue, the liquid crystalline structure of love. And Jude Albert brings in scripture. He says, teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law? Jesus replied, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these two. Dwight Avery says, we are the spores of humanity's re-emergence. Well, we are just about at the time. I want to take some time here. Kurt, any final comments from you before maybe we'll make our final thank yous and close this out? Dr. Johnson, anything left from your heart to share?
Well, I think all I want to say, and then toss it back to you, but I'm so grateful to everybody who made these books possible. The materials that we got, like I said, 25 years of correspondence and attachments, and we spent hours on this stuff. So that was a wonderful process. To see that then has created the energy that's brought new things happening, new levels of discussion, new levels of these circles coming together. It's just so fulfilling. So I also just want to thank everybody who's been a part of this symposium and urge you to share it. Urge you to share this amazing content, which has a transmission, just like Yanni's program did, has a transmission that doesn't have to be put into words. It's just obvious. So that huge thanks, and then to everyone, and back, Ben, to you. And Ben, you've been just an amazing host. I don't know how you do it. It's a gift. I'm glad God gave that gift to you. It's amazing. And you've served this process so well.
Oh, it's a joy. Joy. It's a joy. I feel there's a beautiful quote from Wayne Teasdale, Kurt, about the friendships. Or it might actually be Teilhard, who's been invoked many times this weekend. But he talks about the sacredity of missional friendships. And there's a quote there, I think it's Teilhard, but it's a beautiful one. And, we're all in this space together. And in terms of the future of interspirituality, I want to again acknowledge the work that Rory is doing. We need new interspiritual institutions and institutions for this new earth consciousness. And that, I think, as Deborah said and Sally said about the greatest contribution of the United Religions Initiative, is that it's a forerunner of these new institutions that need to be established all over the planet. And the URI has been a beacon of light for 20 quarter of a century and more now as a new institution. So let those new entities come and rise, be organic, be grounded, be fruitful. We are living at that turning of the tide. What a joy, what a privilege. Rory, I look forward to a closer collaboration with you as we go forward. And Sally, we are joined at the heart with the United Religions Initiative. Thanks to Deborah, thanks to Gard, thanks to Musi, thanks to Victor, and so many others. Subi, Dupa in India, and so many others, Bishwadeb, etc. It's a family. It's a family affair. And thank you, Bob, for being with us to help us close with your beautiful resonance and clarity as a great steward of world unity and as a great steward of cosmic unity. Thank you for sharing that with us today.